Okay, chapter 3, lesson 3, we are going to be talking about rate of change and slope. First thing we have to understand is that if they are asking us for the rate of change or if they are asking us for the slope, they mean the same thing. Rate of change is usually used in word problems and slope is just used in regular graphing equations. So to find the slope or the rate of change between 2 points, we have a formula we're going to use. And it's m equals y2 minus y1, and that needs to be in parentheses, over x2 minus x1 in parentheses. So we've heard slope a lot of time called rise over run. And so I just remember that rise rhymes with y's. And then the run is the x's. Find the slope of the line that passes through each pair of points. So what I like to do is set them up as x1, y1, and then above the other one, write x2, y2. So then I can easily set up my slope formula in my calculator then. So I do y2, which is 6, minus y1, which is 9, over x2, which is 1, and x1, which is 4. So it would give me negative 3 over negative 3, which is 1 over 1. Same thing down here, I would do x1, y1, x2, y2. So when I set up my formula, I get negative 3 minus negative 3 over 8 minus 4, which gives me 0 over 4, which is 0. So if we go to the brown part of our notebook where we talked about horizontal and vertical lines, under the horizontal lines, we need to add have a slope of 0. Then we're going to do one for vertical lines. Vertical lines have slope undefined. So when I do this problem here, and I do negative 5 minus negative 1 over negative 4 minus negative 4, I get negative 4 divided by 0, and you cannot divide by 0. So this one is undefined. And that's all we would write for the slope. We would just write undefined. If we're given 2 coordinates, but one of them is missing a point, we're going to set up the slope formula, and then we're going to solve using cross products. So for number 10, x1, y1, x2, y2, and we know the slope is 1. So I'm going to set it up, instead of m equals, I'm going to set it up as 1 over 1 equals. And then I have y2 minus y1, so that's negative 2 minus 8, over x2, which is r, minus x1, which is 6. So I'm going to use cross products. So the left side becomes 1 times, parenthesis, r minus 6. And the right side I'm just going to put in my calculator, which gives me negative 10. Distribute here, which gives me 1r minus 6. Add 6 to both sides. So 1r equals negative 4. Same thing here for number 14. x1, y1, x2, y2. So I set up the slope is 3/4. And that's going to equal y2, which is 1, minus y1, which is 4, over 7 minus r. Cross multiply here would give me 3 parentheses 7 minus r equals negative 12. Distribute to get 21 minus 3r equals negative 12. Subtract 21 to both sides. So negative 3r equals negative 33. divide by -3, and so R is 11. To find the slope by looking at a graph, we find 2 points, set it up into our slope formula. So that would be -2 minus 1 over 1 minus 0. -3 over 1 is -3. When looking at a table, we can just pick any of the 2 points, doesn't matter which ones. So I'd write down my points as 2, 1 and 0, 3. So 3 minus 1 over 0 minus 2 is 2 over -2, which is -1 over 1. Okay, for the word problem here, the pitch of the roof is the number of feet the roof rises for each 12 feet horizontally. If the roof has a pitch of 8, what is its slope expressed as a positive number? So the pitch is 8 over 12, which reduces to 4/6, which reduces to 2/3. A daily newspaper had 12,125 subscribers when it began publication. 5 years later, it had 10,100. So I'm going to write when it originally started. I'm going to put it as 0 for the time. It had 12,125. 5 years later, so I'm going to put 5 for my time. It had 10,100. The graph shows the predicted life expectancy for both men and women born in a given year. Find the rates of change for women from 2000 to 2025 and from 2025 to 2050. So what they're asking, rates of change, remember, is the same thing as slope. So looking for women, which is the squared, 80 to 84. So on 2000, it was 80. In 2025, it was 84. So there's my x1, y1, x2, y2. So for the first part here, I would take y2, which is 84, minus y1, which is 80, over x2, which is 2025, and x1, which is 2000, which gives me 4 over 25, which gives me, that's the lowest reduced fraction. Now for 2025 to 2050, so I already have 2025, and 2050's life expectancy is 87. So I'm going to do 87 minus 84 over 2050 minus 2025. This should be up here. And that would give me 3 over 25. And then I'll do the same thing for men for part B. So the men are the circled lines on the line graph. So for the men in the year 2000, they lived to 74. In 2025, they're 78, and that's my first equation. So 78 minus 74 over 2025 minus 2000 gives me 4 over 25. And for the 2050, looks like 81. So I do 81 minus 78 over 2050 minus 2025 is 3 over 25. Explain the meaning of your results in exercises 1 and 2. Well, the life expectancy increases 3 years every 25 years. So every 25 years, that passes, your life expectancy goes up by 3 or 4 years, I guess. Because for the first part, it was 4 years increase, and the next year was 3 years. What pattern do you see in the increase with each 25-year period? So the first time it was 4 years, and the second time it was 3 years. So it's going down 1 year. Make a prediction for the life expectancy for 2025 to 2075. So if it's going down each 25 years, it's going down by 1. The women and men would both increase only by 2. So women would be 89 and men would be 83.